Hello everybody, welcome to the round 3 of the UK Essays Dakar Battle Racing League. This is round 3. We are heading into Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium. And we are waiting the driver to load to get into qualifying. I remember you all, the format is a short qualifying session plus 100% race. For today's race, we're gonna have safety cars on while we hadn't in the first two races. We're gonna have dynamic weather, so we may see some rain. We hopefully see some rain to get a more excited race. For now, the qualifying looks clear. The sky is completely blue without cloud. We're heading to Spa-Francorchamps. I'll walk you through to the racetrack while the driver decides to go for their laps. This track has 11 turns, 14 to the right, only 5 to the left. The length of this track is the biggest one. We have 4.35 miles. And the pole last year of Hamilton was a 141.2. I see some drivers get into the 141. Let's see if they are gonna go into the low 41 as Lewis Hamilton did. I want to remember you all that in this league there is a 3,000 bonus for the winner, £2,000, and the first one is gonna take in the drivers' championship is gonna take £500, and every time we have a win, the driver who wins get £50. We are on board with Christian or Chris onto the medium tires. Let's go on board with him. He's preparing his lap. A few more other drivers are joining on the track. This is a very long track, you have no room for mistakes, otherwise you're not gonna have time for 2 or 3 push laps. So you have to be really careful and at the same time committed. That's why Spa-Francorchamps is one of the critical track where you need to do that practice, that qualifying practice. I've tried it without racing line and I can tell this is one of the easiest track to drive without it, because you have so many references on the curbs. Not for Chris, who is take a little bit of it to gravel, but it won't affect his performance. Let's see what the Alfa Romeo driver is gonna do. I'll come into this lap, and now he won to box, so let's go with another one. I'm gonna put the map on and also the thermometry. Right, so we have maybe Dirt Shark. It was on a lap, yes. First turn, then up the gears 6, 7 and 8 before Eau Rouge and Radion. Easy flat out on this game. Then we have the Camel Straight, one of the easiest straight line where you can overtake. Back straight, sorry. Pretty fast chicane. Quite a wide entry and exit. We have this tricky corner where you can lock up very easily, so you need to be quite glued to the right. Very high G's in real life in this corner, and then we have Pujon. The challenge for the real drivers was to take it flat out. In this game you have to go 1 gears down, whether the 7th or 6th we're in this nice flowing sequence of corners, carrying a lot of speed on this corner, slight lock up, and then flat out till the bus stop chicane. When the most critical corner in this track, you have to get it right, or nice and simple, because otherwise you're gonna mess up all the lap you have done in around 1 minute 40 seconds. Quite good for the Red Bull driver. And this provisional pole with a 1:44.5, quite a slow time. With Tibran was invalidate this lap. Let's go on board with Neil, and he takes the provisional pole with a 1:44.2. Let's see what Happy is gonna do. Neil retired already. He's happy with his lap. Fred Nolasco left the session. That's quite a news. Let's go on board with Nappy on the soft tires. Julius Reyes 1:43.1. That's more of a good lap. Oh, Neil retired not for his choice because he spun and broke the suspension. That's quite unfortunate because we've only started the qualifying. I want you all to write in the comment section who you think is gonna win and who are you cheering for to get here on the podium at least. Very nicely done for the McLaren driver. Maybe a bit slow entry, not fully committed. Slightly lock up, as I said, this is very easy to lock up there. Luca P2, he wants redemption, he wants a really clean race without spinning or penalties, which cost him the podium last race in Silverstone. We have to really care to a lot of speed during these corners. Quite good, maybe I geared too much down. Purple middle sector, that's quite a nice sign for Happy, who has gifted us many good performance. I want to remember you all that for this race we're gonna have safety cars on, and also the weather is gonna be on dynamic. For this qualifying session looks very clear. That will be sunny all the session. Happy with a 1:44.1 in P4. Simopets left the session. The championship leader has left the session probably because of his connection. Just wait a second, guys, I'll invite him. Okay, nice. We have 5 spectators. If you want, write in the chat and say who you think is gonna win, who is gonna take the checker flag first. This is a very long race. It's a 44 laps race for almost 2-minute laps in the wet and around 150 in the dry. Let's watch someone who is on a lap. Mr. G-Man Hammer Time looks like it's backed off. Alan Jupp is down on Euros. Let's go on board with Fred Nolasco, who got a really nice P2 in the first race, in the opening race, and had a very bad qualifying in Silverstone, and then really walk his way through up to the field to get into the points finishing places. Heisenberg 1:44.1, which put him P4. The Ferrari driver as well got a really nice first race, and then quite a bad one, quite a second bad. We have a comment. I'm gonna watch it very soon. Sadly I can't. Sorry. If you want to ride it again, Fred is preparing his lap. This is a very long track, 4.3 miles, so you want the tires to be as clean as possible, close to the 0% of degradation. That's why you do very slowly the out lap, very fast the push lap, and then the A lap. If you're happy, you go slow. If you're happy, go slow, because you're gonna start on the tires. Or if you think you can improve, you're gonna speed to the pit lane and try to do another push lap. 11 minutes are already gone. We have only less than 8 remaining. Let's watch the Renault driver on board. He stays in 7th gear, slightly lock up, carrying a lot of speed, and that's not invalidated because he's slow down, but it's gonna really affect this lap. The Moss was beautiful sequence of corner. Ooh, he almost spun out. DRS wide open onto the camel straight. Then there's the chicane. Nicely done for the Renault driver. Tricky corner, this. He really goes for it, and he's doing it right. Very nice from the Renault driver. One of the best I've seen so far. Carrying a lot of speed through Pouan. Very nicely done. Simopets is now back in the session. 4th gear, 5th. Slightly touch on the brake. 6th gear, 7. Then 3 gears down, 4. 3rd gear for the extra rotation. Purple middle sector, and I was expecting that because it really looks like a clean lap so far from Fred. Simopets get out of the way. The DRS is almost drained. 2nd gear, 3rd. Onto the line is a 133.5 and it's P4. You got really good middle sector and then quite an average last. Let's watch Simopets, the championship leader. Seventh gear, 8th. It's got a lot of traffic ahead. Hopefully they're gonna move away as Fred Nalaska does. Dirtshire 143.0. That's provisional pole for the Red Bull driver who has never started on the front row. Hopefully we're gonna see him at least in the front row. So that's not the best line out here, and that's invalidation. And he is gonna have just one push lap by the end of the session. Let's see the teammate of Dirtshire who is in pole. Godzilla, the Italian driver, is lagging a bit. 3rd gear, not carrying that much speed. Nicely done here. Simopets has left the session once again. I'm gonna invite him back because it doesn't look like he will get invited. It takes me just a few seconds. There we go. Let's see what Godzilla can do. We have many drivers who doesn't really show that much of a speed laps so far. Also D Power, who I do expect him to get in the top 10, is not done a lap yet. So hopefully is gonna get a lap done, while Godzilla goes 4th fastest, and Red Bull looks spicy today in 1st and 3rd place. And Julius Race retired from the session. I wonder if he got damaged or something like that. Barks get invalidated his lap. Is he gonna make it? I don't think he will. He really need to push hard to get a lap done. Otherwise he's gonna start at least on 12th position. Yeah, for me through chat, Simopeds really got big problems with connection. Hopefully he's gonna fix it for the race. Let's see someone who's on a lap. Let's go with Happy. Yeah. Now let's go with Luca, because I haven't showed the other Italian driver we have. The leading driver, no, maybe not, because Giulia I think it's also Italian. We have a lot of Italians here, as me. Let's see what he can do. Is probably hunting the pole down, because he only 3/10 of a second from the Red Bull driver. And Heisenberg 76 goes into the 2nd row with a 1:33.2. That's 3rd position. Very good done from the Ferrari driver, who is substituting the other Ferrari driver of Simopeds. Wasn't done a lap so far. Let's watch Lucas' lap, his final attempt. Unless he has more fuel, but I don't think he has. Very nicely done, first one. Simopeds is back in the session, but he won't have time to do a lap, and he's gonna start on to the back of the field. That's gonna get things spicy. Garage wide open for the Aston Martin driver. 1:29.9, that's a fantastic first sector. If you continue like that, he's gonna get that pole and smash it. Let's see this turn, tricky line, but he managed to carry much speed. V-Power retired from the session, is gonna start dead last. Let's watch him to pull on. He's carrying so much speed, he's gonna get that pole position if Dirt Shark moves out of the way, and he does. Almost losing the car there, carrying too much speed on that curb. Is he gonna invalidate it? He's not, he's very lucky. That was care. Onto the straight. Almost to the bus stop chicane. Braking just off the under middleboard, locking up both tires, but managed to carry good speed. Flied out till the checkered flag, and he's not improved. He managed to do a fantastic magical first sector, and then bottle it in the 2nd and 3rd sector. Look at now, let Shark pass the driver is on pole as it stands. And now the session is over. Only who started his laps can finish it. Barks, as I said, didn't manage to do that, sadly. Also Simopeds and the other driver. Strange is neglected back down in 17th place. So most likely Dirt Shark is gonna start on pole, and he's invalidated his lap. Luca is not going for another lap. Let's see Warren, he's the teammate of Julius Race, was retired in the middle of the session and still managed to get that P2, holding to the front row. He's really attacking the curbs. So 14.7 in the middle sector, and that's quite nice. He'll surely get some position if he manages to get a very good last sector onto the bus stop chicane. Very nicely done from the Mercedes driver. Is he gonna get the front row? He has 43.0, only 12 milliseconds away from the Red Bull driver, who got very lucky, invalidating his lap, his final attempt, and managed to get that pole position by only 12 milliseconds. That's fantastic for him. Very good news for Red Bull, which will start on his best ever in first and sixth position. While the two Mercedes looks very strong as always in P2 and P3, Eisenberg doing the job for Ferrari in fourth, Luca always there in fifth. Then we have Fred and Lasco and Happy always together next to them in 7th, 8th, and completed the top 10 we have Chris and Mason. The back of the field looks very between Muma and Graham to T. Brown, only 2 times in 4 driver. Only someone could have blitzed, and with Luca retiring from the session, we're gonna head out straight into the race, the 100% race, where we have safety cars on for this race, and also the weather is gonna be on dynamics, so we might see some rain. That's our starting grid. Simopets, the championship leader, is gonna start on the penultimate grid. Palito de Churrasco cheering up for Fred Nolasco with starting P7. He got a really clean lap, but that was fast enough. But only 3 tenths away from pole and the same lap as Godzilla. That's quite interesting. I didn't see that. And now we're gonna load into the zone where driver adjust their setup, adjust their fuel and the strategy for the race. This is a very long race, probably a 2-stop, and the race is wet. That's quite a news because no one informed me about that. And we have a wet race. It looks like intermediate. It doesn't look like wet tires. Let's see. We will see when every driver will load. That makes things a lot spicier because it's really hard to drive without ABS and traction control and also racing light, because all the braking point you had in qualifying are gonna change. They're gonna be extended because in the rain you have less grip on the brake, so you have to be really careful also not to lock up. And we're gonna walk through this race and see who is gonna come on top on this 44 laps race in Belgium. We have not the formation lap, so we're gonna start right now with dirt sharking pole behind F1 Racing Warren, who is gonna take the lead going to the first corner. Looks like the Red Bull driver on the intermediate tire. Simopets retired from the race. We have a multiple 5-second time penalty. Fred Nolasco for Heisenberg. Happy Simopets left the session. The championship leader is not gonna continue and do this race. We have a safety car on the very first turn. Many people with 5-second time penalty for collision, and I forget to say that the damage is on simulation, so we're probably gonna see many retirements from this race. Let's see. The change of position from the start. So Dirt Shark and F1 Racing Warren still got their starting position. Then Luca get up into 3rd position from 5th. Also Chris got a brilliant start from 9th to 4th. Muman gets a 5-second time penalty with collision with Snaggletooth. I wonder how many 5-second time penalty are we gonna see. They're gonna be probably discounted into the pit lane. I'm going to change tires. Many of them will go into the pit to change the front wing because the damage is on simulation, and a very small little tap is gonna cost them quite a lot. So let's see. Julius Race lost 2 places at the start, and he does not have the end plate of this front wing, so he's surely gonna box to another set of intermediate, because he can't continue on this front wing, otherwise his pace is gonna be a bit worrying for him and for the Mercedes team. Happy gained 2 places in the start. Heisenberg lost 3 for Ferrari, the holy driver for Ferrari. We have a Godzilla, Red Bull driver, who lost 2. Mr. G-Man Hammer Time, who gained 4, but a 5-second time penalty. Let's see his front wing. It looks nice, so it doesn't look the one who's gonna box. Neil gained 1, T-Brand gained 4. He's given that very good starts, and as I said, Julius Race is going into the box. Let's see Fred, the front wing. His front wing, it's very much damaged, whilst Bart's corner is not. The power will continue, and he's gonna get 7 places from the start, starting last. 8 places now because of the whole driver boxing. The race strategy looks like a one-stop with intermediate till the end, boxing lap 22. So Julius Reyes, Mooman, Fred, Eisenberg and F1 Mason are all gonna work his field up once again, because they got damaged at the start. They lost the car, they broke the front wing, and now have to rewrite all the race. I wonder if Dirt Shark is gonna have the pace to keep behind F1 Racing Warren, who has improved a lot in the last few races. Also Luca, who has to do his homeworks and not spinning out, because on simulation damage we are gonna have the car completely destroyed. Also, for this track in this condition, it's gonna be really hard to warm up the tires. Many of these drivers are gonna have the tires on 50-60 degrees, which is not optimal. We want the intermediate tires around 70 when the tires is really warmed up nicely, because otherwise you can't afford to push the car to the limit, or you're gonna spin it out and the safety car is gonna go with us another lap, allowing the driver who went into the pit to catch up the group. We have the 2 Alpha in the dead last position. Mooman was catching up, and F1 Mason as well. He's surely gonna catch the group, because it's the safety car really goes slow, more than usually in this condition. We have this is the first race with safety car on, and it's already come out on the first turn of this Grand Prix. I wonder if the safety car choice is gonna comes once again. I remember you all, this is a 11 races championship, waiting for the F1 2021 game to come. The prizes for this championship is really high. We have £3,000 on the line, £100 for the who's gonna win the drivers championship, £500 for the constructor championship, and £50 for the winner of every race, including £30 for the second, 20 for the third, 10 for the fourth, and £5 for the 5th. I want to say also that in this championship the points are divided with the old school points, so the first get 10 points, the second 9, till the 10th who gets only 1 point. We're on lap 3, most likely the safety car is gonna go into the pit and let the driver do their things. F1 Mason hasn't catched the grip yet, he has to get a move on, because otherwise he's gonna get a massive disadvantage. Also the penalties is gonna be a really big factor, that 5-second time penalty who may be removed. Is the safety car gonna come into the pit? It doesn't look like. Are we gonna go with the safety car for another lap? We are. I need you to be more patient than ever and watch another lap with the safety car, another 2-minute lap, meaning that we're gonna have only 40 laps for the drivers to battle. Hopefully we're not gonna see other safety car, but on simulation damage anything can happen. And I'll read you the standings of this championship, the driver and the constructor. The Constructor Championship of the UK SS Dakar Better Racing League C. Mercedes at the first place with 55 points, then Ferrari with 38, McLaren in third position with 31, just 7 points beyond Ferrari, and today we can see them, I see them catch him and overtake me, because the big man Simopets has retired from the race. So happy, and Lee Power needs really to clinch this moment and gets the most out of it. Then we have Alpine or Renault in fourth place with 27 points, with Barks in the point, just about in the points, and Fernando Lasco in P16, who needs once again to rewrite this race. Then we have Red Bull with 18 points, and it looks like they're gonna get much more, with Dirt Shark in first place and Godzilla in 6th. Then we have AlphaTauri in 7th with 15 points, and they are dead last both in 17 and 18 place. And finally the three of them are us, Alfa Romeo and Williams with 3, 2 and 1 point. Let's have a look on the Drivers' Championship. The first one is Simopets in the Ferrari with 22 points, Julius Race in second place with 18, and he's gonna fight really hard to get that first place, and the safety car is gonna go into the pit on this lap. So we're gonna race once again. The Shark looks like he wants a fast restart. He's catching up to the safety car. He should wait, and that's the limiter that goes up. I really want to warm his tires, because I can only imagine how cold they are. And it's gonna start just now. And we have a green flag, and Godzilla has already overtaken Happy. We have a yellow flag in the third sector, and it's Barks who do spun out, probably because of the limiter, and he's now dead last in P18. But let's watch the first place of Dirt Shark, who's managed to stay in first position and get already a slight gap over 1.5 seconds, while Luca with the overtake on is looking to get that second place as soon as possible. Happy gets overtaken by Mr. G-Man. Hammer Time has Naglathus. Did he spin out? Most likely. Let's see if he got damage. It's not. Oh, likely. Everything looks set up. We have Eisenberg, who's really on the back of Julius' race. This is a really big fight, very important for both driver and constructor championship, because Eisenberg really has the weight on his shoulders. Because the last race in Silverstone didn't go quite nice for the Ferrari driver. I need a good result, and Godzilla retired from the session. He most likely spun out and broke his front wing. Let's see if we're gonna have another safety car. I hope not. I want the driver to race, and it doesn't look likely. We have Julius Race, who's really held up by Alan Jupp, the Aston Martin driver, who's in the last spot of the points. I wonder how fast can he overtake the Aston Martin driver in this condition. And Godzilla left the session with Dirt Shark going for the fastest lap. Ooh, Eisenberg, Fred and Lasco, who was? They got damage. They both got damage, and they're both going to the pits. For Chen G-Star once again, and remember, these two drivers got damage in the first lap, and now once again we have a virtual safety car, which is gonna last, I think, half of the lap. Nothing much. We have Barks, who is in the pits as well to change his nose. Eisenberg left the pits right now. Mr. Jim and Hammerstein drive-through penalty. That's quite a big penalty for the driver in fifth, the Williams driver, who really got a nice start, a nice full lap. Let's see. Yeah, he managed to gain 8th position, and now has a drive-through penalty. That's so unfortunate for him. He went too over the limit into the virtual safety car, and now he's gonna have to discount a drive-through penalty, and the race is back on the way with Epi. Oh, he's gonna get that 5th position very soon. Let's see if the Williams driver is gonna wait 3 laps. That's the time he has to spend this is drive-through penalty. We have already another fake with Julius Race blazing past the Aston Martin driver of Alan Jupp, has already created a 2-second gap in a matter of corners. It really showed the determination of the Mercedes driver, who has to win this race, so at least gets the most out of it, because he needs to get that first place in the driver and constructor championship. And the Mercedes driver pushing really too hard and spinning out into the straight, and he's gonna lose all the hard work that he has done with Alan Jupp, Snaggletooth, and also Mason. I want to remember started P18 and is now in P12 in a matter of 5 laps, just staying on the track. Eisenberg is really close to Mooman, but let's watch Happy in fight with Neil for 6th place, battling for 5th points in the driver and constructor championship for their teams. Neil last race went really bad for the As driver, and now look, he's in 6th place, just over to Happy, who sat comfortably in the top 10 for the first 2 races. And now we're gonna have a good battle, and we have Mooman Graham spinning out, and now he's dead last. Very sad for the AlphaTauri driver. Let's get back to the battle for 6th place between Happy Neil and then still Mr. G-Man Hammer Time, who has to get the drive-through penalty away. Luckily for him, the pit lane in this track is very short, so he's not gonna lose that much of a time. And Dirt Shark with a 1:59.9, the only man under the 2 minute, has already created a 5.7 second gap, 5.8, increasing every corner. It's really showing his pace in the wet, while other drivers are really showing their difficulties. Let's get on board with the other McLaren driver of the Power, who started dead last in P19. He's back in the points in P9. Alan Job, Warren, the third man, has been overtaken by Luca, who was really far behind. I wonder what happened to him, as Fred Nolasco goes fastest with a 1:59.2, 7 tenths faster than the leader. So Fred really got a pace there. And finally Julia overtook the AlphaTauri driver, while with a three-car battle. Heisenberg overtook Barks. Is Fred gonna overtake him as well? He has. Most likely Barks left him through, but Fred does really have the pace, and he's probably gonna get into the points as well this race if it doesn't other mistakes. Let's get back on board with the McLaren driver of Happy. I wasn't expecting Luca to overtake Warren, because he was over a second behind the Mercedes driver, so he must have done some mistakes of some marvelous move, as in Silverstone, where he overtook Julia's race, but shortly he spin out, and Mr. G-Man Hammer Time goes into the pit for his drive-through penalty. So every driver is gonna gain one position. He's gonna be there with his teammates of Snaggletooth. So far we have the two McLaren driver who are pressing out the opponents up ahead. The Power on T-Brown 1 and Epi on Neil 1997. As Mr. J-Man Amethime just get back behind Snaggletooth. At Fresno Lasco is in battle for Eisenberg, and they're gonna go side by side through a Rouge. I wonder they are. No one is gonna back it off, and that's a very clean overtake by the Ferrari driver. Luckily for them, the Renault goes through, otherwise they would end up in the crash. And with simulation damage on the wet, you won't that get easily. They will need to work together, because otherwise they're gonna lose a ton of time. Let's go on board with the Pava, just behind T-Brand. Right in the chat, who you think is gonna win? Who's gonna take the checkered flag? Looks like Dirt Shark has the most pace of the lobby, but we have a really tight fight for the podium places with Luca and Warren. We're gonna fight for the P2 as Jules Race overtook Snaggletooth, and very shortly is gonna get to the Mr. G-Man Hammertime. Dirt Shark in the meantime got the fastest lap with a 1:58 or so. So what to say on board with Julia's race was doing overtakes on overtakes. He's not afraid of doing some mistakes, as we saw when Alan Job has retired from the race. He's probably went into the barrier. Let's see if, yes, he has, on the main straight. And we have another safety car on lap 10. That's quite unfortunate, but it will mean that the gaps are gonna go down to a few matter of seconds. And look at the second driver. The driver in second place got a drive-through penalty, and he can't. Oh wow, he can discount that during safety car, so it'll be right in the back of the field from P2. That's how brutal is the safety car, how much it can cost going a few times up over the limiter, and he's gonna get probably dead last by the time they'll discount that. With another safety car, I wonder who's gonna pit. I bet like the Shark is not afraid of pitting, because it's gonna get another fresh of intermediate tires. Luca has a drive-through penalty, so if he has a 15-second gap to the Mercedes driver of Warren, and there are probably enough. And Sparks the Hood gets a drive-through penalty as well. That's quite unfortunate for him, but that won't affect that much. Actually, it will, because it's gonna be like 15 seconds away as the Red Bull driver goes into the pit, while Luke has to continue. Warren continue. Let's see who's gonna come out on top between Warren and Dirt Shark. Dirt Shark just came out of the pits, but Warren, ooh, is that a mistake in turn 1? Looks like they were racing, but we're in the safety car, and Dirt Shark managed to still get P2 with Luca, who has to go into the pit when the safety car comes back, because he got a drive-through penalty. We have many drivers into the pit, like D Powers, Naglatooth, Mason. Maybe they got minor damage on this front wing, and they want to fix them. Or maybe they had a 5-second time penalty and they want to discount them. That's already the second safety car in a matter of 10 laps. We had the first one on lap 1. We have 3 spectators. You can ask me everything, just to spend time waiting the safety cars to came in the pit. So feel free to ask everything you want through the chat. Most likely we're gonna have other 3-4 laps with the safety car, and this is gonna be a very long race, because we're on wet with safety cars on, and this is gonna take quite a while. We are only in the first fourth of the race on lap 11 of 44. Let's see who was going fastest. Dirt Shark with a 1:58.8, and most of the driver over the 2 minutes. Only Dirt Shark, Luca, Eisenberg and Fred Nolasco are down them. That's quite the news. I wasn't expecting that. That looks like the fastest driver overall. Also Julius Reyes, who managed to get many overtakes. Maybe because of the traffic he couldn't really show his pace show his strength, and his best lap is a 2.1 second. Most likely we're gonna get another lap under the safety car. Maybe not, because I hope not, because we have all the driver line up. Hopefully we're going to have the safety car in this lap. Luca, who has never been first on this championship, is now leading the Grand Prix. It didn't look like he got a pace on Dirt Shark, but overtaking the wet is really difficult, and also the dirt here is amplified. So it's gonna be a tough task for the Red Bull driver, even if sadly for Luca he got that drive-through penalty. If I would him, I would wait 3 laps, the 3 laps you get, because the gaps are gonna stretch up into this safety car period, and he may even not came out last, maybe around P11, P12, with Eisenberg, Fred and Lasco fighting for the position. So to restart, I'm gonna use the television cam, and the safety car is gonna came into the pit on this lap, luckily for the race. Yeah, I'm gonna hold to the swapping places, because we're going to see many on this safety car restart for sure. You can see the driver warming up their tires, because during the safety car on this intercondition is really hard. And looks like Luca has already pushed, and he's gonna start the Grand Prix once again. Oh, there's a spin of Happy has lost the car and probably lost the front wing. If he touched the wall, Heisenberg is gonna go wheel to wheel with him. Heisenberg brakes really late. Fred and Lasco put his nose in, and Happy has to let him go. Look at 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, and things are going bad worse for him. Also Julius Race get a 3-second time penalty. Deep Power in the middle of all from the start gained 10th position. What an amazing performance for him. Is Fernando Lasco going for the dive? Is not Heisenberg almost knocking into the hand wing of Deep Power. The best fight is between the Renault driver of Fred Lasco and Eisenberg, who has showed us to be the bravest drivers on the grid, with Julius Race, who is knocking to the Williams driver Mr. Jim and Hammertime. Eisenberg is really trying everything to get that McLaren out of the way. Let's see Julius Race, who is only 3 tenths behind the Williams driver. If he managed to get a good corner, it doesn't look like he can overtake there. And he doesn't. We're gonna... Ooh! He has done a dummy. He's gonna take the place. Fred and Lasco didn't quite dig the best line, sadly for him, and he's now in P11, and he's still in P11. And Baxel to Hood went into the pit because he got his and drive through penalty. But anything can happen. We are still 30 laps to go for this race. Luca is leading with a 5/10 lead on the Shark, but Luca has that drive-through penalty. Let's see some battle. This is the battle for 7th place between Julius Race and Mr. G-Man Hammertime. With this point, with Julia overtaking the William driver, it will get on to 22 points in the Driver Championship, just as Simopets, who has retired from the race, that big name, he didn't even last one turn probably at contact. Also the simulation damage is a big factor. Their Shark is now bigger and bigger in the mirror of Luca, but he doesn't need to do risky moves. And Luca spun out, he lost the car, and I wonder how much is it gonna cost it. I hope no one is gonna get an accident between the two of them, and Luca is now in P6, and most likely is gonna serve his drive-through penalty, and he does. Also Heisenberg is into the pit. I wonder if he got a drive-through penalty as well. Sorry. I think he has, because he didn't go into the pits. Ooh, this is a spin. And the sector 3 is it's not the William driver. I have no idea who it is. Maybe it was Barks, I don't know. Let's get back to the Tars. And let's go with... Oh, we have lost the overtake of Julia on the power, sadly. And he's now gonna fight for the 5th place with T-Brand. And Mooman gets overtaken by Luca, and Bad Eisenberg is probably have done a mistake, sadly for him. Julia is really hunting down the Alfa Romeo driver, who is usually sit in the last places of the grid. That is now in P5 with 5 points for the team. That would be fantastic to stretch the gap to Haas and to Williams, because his teammate is in P3 in the podium places, while Neil for the Haas team is in 4th. Let's see Giulio. He doesn't do the mistake of Luca. Their Shark 158.3 with the new set of inters is now flying. Already gained 7 seconds. Ooh, Giulio got a really nice exit. He has overtakes on. He's gonna try and move on turn 1. He does have a look, but it's too far away. And also the dirty air really is a factor here, as the power has not went too far, also because he had a pace on T-Brand, but Julius Race is still behind him. Doesn't manage to overtake him. Also Luca in P12 as Naglatooth is gonna get a move done. Who's gonna blink first? Is Naglatooth. Luca goes a bit deep, but just enough to get the move done. Oh, for P11 Luca has once again has to rewrite his race to work his way up to the field. This safety car really helped the driver to get the gaps going under the second. Fred Lasco is really close to Deep Power. and he showed us that he has really good pace and really good capabilities to go for moves. As the power goes wide, this is gonna be a big opportunity for the Renault driver. Overtake on. The Leclerc driver would overtake. I can't see that, but he's on board. But Fred looks like has give up, then he's not. He gets a fantastical exit, and he's gonna go side by side, and he's overtaken into the bus stop chicane, and he managed to do so. What an amazing overtake by the Renault driver. We'll get into the pace heaven. This fantastic overtake, great sportsmanship by Di Pavel, was now sitting P8 with his teammates behind, with Happy behind. Now Fred Lasco is going to try to overtake Julius' race because he's not getting the pace on Tubran, he's not getting the overtake. While Fred Lasco with overtake on really looks like he's going for it. He doesn't want to waste any time whatsoever, and he wants to get a move up the other. As Julius really close, we have a battle up in front between Neil and Chris. Neil's really almost wheel to wheel for the Alfa Romeo driver. Is 3 times behind, 4 times now. As Fred Nolasco is really close to Giulio, we have a really tough fight for P4 with 5 driver in a matter of seconds. Looks like a little of a train because it's really hard to overtake in this condition. I wonder how much can see Fred Nolasco, and as I said, he locks up and he goes wide. Look at Kamedo, that's the power. As I was switching, and he broke his front wing. And is now in P9, is surely gonna need to box, but let's get back on the racing. Because Giulio it's still not close enough. It's Fred Lasco. Doesn't want to waste any time whatsoever. It's not gonna overtake through there. Julius makes a bit of a dive. Was really went defensive from the Renault driver. Get a really nice exit. And if you can get a very good Urus Radion, he's surely gonna overtake the Mercedes driver. Fernando Lasco 3-second time penalty for corner cutting, but he has overtake on. And so Julius, so he won't manage to overtake him on this lap on the Camel Straight. This is a really good fight, entertaining fight between Chris, Neil, Tubran, Julius Race and Fred. As now Deepava came up to the pits in P14 after his spin, for the spawn, sorry, in the 3rd sector. Neil is now 103 tenths of a second of Chris, who is really defending hard for these podium places. Ooh, Nolasco overtook Giulio. On to pull on, that's... I want to see that back. Oh no, I'm so sad. I couldn't see that. Now Fred is in P6 with Giulio. We did not manage to get a move on Tibran, and now Fred is surely gonna get that gap down to fight for 5th place. Let's see if Neil... It doesn't look like he's close enough. He brakes really late and he locks up both tires. As Chris got 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. You can see he's struggling. Julius Race goes into the pits. He decides that his tires were too much degraded. As Chris goes wide, so the house driver is gonna get a good chance of overtake. Now, with overtake on, slipstream, the Alfa Romeo driver is gonna be a sitting duck. Let's see from Tubram's perspective, and the As driver is now into the podium places, with Chris being all over the place. Let's see if he's gonna let his teammates pass. Doesn't look like it's Fred Nolasco. Fred Nolasco's going for the move. Ooh, that's brave, and that's really good sportsmanship by the two of them. And Fred Nolasco now is in P5 and looks like at the pace on Chris, and Chris has the pace of Neil. This is an amazing fight for P3 for the last podium places. The Haas driver looks so good. Ooh, and Chris spun, and he's broken his front wing. Is he gonna break the suspension? Luckily not. But he's gonna lose everything. All the hard work that he had done, being on P3, is now over, and he's surely gonna box for another new set of inters and another front wing. Let's see, Fred Nolasco was Warren into the pits for another set of intermediates. Is gonna go to the end quite surely. Look at 3-second time penalty. Luca is now in P7. Fred Nolasco will hunt down Neil, who is now in P2, net P3, because Warren is into the pit. He's already gained 0.3 of a second in the Orius Radigan combination. We're almost in after the Grand Prix. We're already at 2 safety cars. With Fred Nolasco, who is in P3 right now, and he's really showing the pace. Only Dirt Shark looks like the fastest. Let's see their fastest lap, and he's the fastest. Oh, look at got a 158.3, only 2 tenths lower than Dirt Shark. That's a really nice lap. Also from Eisenberg, 58.8, while Fred Nolasco is only a 159.2. Only to say that. And that's make the difference, because if they are not brave enough to get the overtake done on the opponent, then they are going to sit them behind and not showing the real pace, while Fred doesn't want to waste any time and get many moves done. Big lock up. He surely has the best tire. He's already done 2 pit stop, while people around him, does not. Eisenberg 158.1. That's a really cool lap, and he's on a 14-hole tires. Let's see how F1 Racing Warren is gonna do behind him, and also Julia Race, the teammate, in P9. They're gonna fight for the position. Fred Nolasco, purple first sector, trying everything to get the move down on the As driver. Ooh, we have a yellow flag in sector 3, and that's Chris, who has to retire from this race. Let's see if with bars, and we have a virtual safety car. And there he is, Chris, who has spun out on the 15 corner was caught many drivers, like Luca, who is now on P6, but it could have been much higher. We're into the virtual safety car. I hope no one is gonna get a drive-through penalty. And now Dirt Shark is a pit stop clear of the US driver, and now we have a green flag. The virtual safety car is over, and Fred lost a couple of tenths from Neil, who is not pitting whatsoever. He's on a 20-hold intermediate tires, and he's in the half of the race. I think he wants to have a fresh set of intermediate by the end of the race. And Luca goes into the pit to change his tires, something that Eisenberg needs to do, as Happy and Tibran and everyone in the top 5 position. After Warren and Julius Race pairing up, instead, it's really waving. The Mercedes of Julius Race is too much on the limit. I mean, this is a 100% race on intermediate tires. You know people are gonna struggle and do mistakes, so you have to be very precise, and you don't have to push the car to the limit, because we are also into simulation damage. So one mistake and you're out, as Chris was now left the session. So you need to work on your race pace, and you'll be like Tibran, who is now in 4th place. And I wonder, yeah, he started P15 and he's now P4 because he didn't do any silly mistakes. He didn't spin out or broke his front wing or get penalty. So really nice driving from the Alfa Romeo driver, who is now in P4, and he's now winning £10 while Snaggletooth gets overtaken by F1 Mason in the AlphaTauri. Let's go back with Happy. The McLaren driver is now catching up to the Alfa Romeo one, but he has most likely a 3-second time penalty. Let me see, a 5-second time penalty, so he'll surely gonna serve that into the penalties. Really going long to the pit lane as Tibran and Epic goes into the pit on the limit. Happy's on the limit. That Fernando Lasco is 4 tenths behind us driver. He's gonna take many risks around here. Ooh, he's got a really nice exit, overtake on, and Neil also is with overtake, but the Renault driver has the slipstream. He's gonna go for the move. He's not, because he's too far away, and they're probably gonna box soon, at least for the US driver. Epic came out in P9, P10 just behind F1 Mason in the AlphaTauri. I want the tires on because I wonder who does not need to pit once again, and it's Warren, Julius, Race, Tibran, Luca, and I don't think F1 Mason can do till the end because he has already 11 laps intermediate tires. Ooh, mistakes for Neil. Is Fred gonna get this opportunity? It's really close. He's preparing the overtake, getting a nice flowing exit. He's glued to the hand, to the back count of the driver. Overtake on. They both have one. The boost. The Shark 158.0. Ooh, really brave for the Renault driver, going running out around the outside. He's braked really late, managed to still get in the track as the US driver decides enough is enough, and he's going into the pit. Now Fred Nolasco really has to push as hard as he can for 4 laps or so to maximize his race pace. that is show us Eisenberg 158.0. Now P3, but he does also need to pit. So Heisenberg on a 17-hole set of intermediates set the fastest lap. That's quite an interesting race with Berkshire, who is the absolute leader. That's is unquestionable. But everything can happen: a safety car or a mistake from the leader, and the fight for the lead is gonna be wide open. Mooman Graham is now into the pit. At deep power, get him. Also Snaglo to F1 Mason. They are not gonna finish the race on that compound. They'll need to get another set of intermediate tires, probably for the last 10-15 laps. If I were their engineer, I'll say to pit as soon as possible. Now maybe I'll like 5 laps in that pit, because then you will lose performance, that you will not optimize your intermediate tires. Let's see the race from back to the hood perspective. This looks the best one. Got a really good last race in Silverstone, where the first half was magnific, 16 points for all the race, and he's now in P15. He'll manage to get to the end, but only a safety car can save his race up. He's probably didn't train for the wet condition, but it's gonna improve, that's for sure. We have still 8 races to go, and Eisenberg with a 157 on a 19 set of intermediates, and he's pushing as hell. Neil, who is on a new set of intermediates, is losing 3 times every lap, and we have F1 Mason who has to retire from the race, and we have another safety car, and Fred Nolasco is gonna stay in P2, and that's an unbelievable luck from the Renault driver. Also for Eisenberg, who's maybe ahead of the Haas driver of Neil if he can get a move on. Luckily for Fred and for Eisenberg, they didn't pit, they continue, and they almost predict the safety car. And they now are gonna fight with Neil Warren at Julius race for the position, and they're gonna have also the fresh tires out in front. Also Dirt Shark, he has to pit if he doesn't want to throw up the race. Throw up the race. I wonder who is watching the race. Hopefully you can read the message if you want. This is the 3rd safety car of the race. Luca left the session. He was on P8. Ooh, that's quite unfortunate for the Italian driver, for the Aston Martin driver. We get a good race. Vershak is in the pit. Fred Nolasco most likely is gonna follow the race leader, and so Eisenberg. Excuse me, I'm gonna get some water just to take a little break. As for Nolasco changed his front wing, so he got damaged and he was having that pace. He's now got overtaken. He is. Also Julius is Luca. Doesn't look like Luca and Tibran are gonna overtake them. Fred Nolasco, did he manage to get the P2? No, he overtook under the safety car, so Neil overtook him back. Very unfortunate for the Haas driver, who pitted just the lap before the safety car. But they still get the P2, so it's nice for him. We're gonna have a really good fight for that second place, and maybe also the first one, because Fred and Alaska Eisenberg showed us that they really have the pace. They don't want to waste any time whatsoever. And also Julius Race has to fight for the championship, as also F1 Racing Warner for the constructor championship, because Ferrari is, it looks like every race it looks like they have only a one-man job, because Simopets won the first 2 rounds, but Eisenberg wasn't really there. Just in Hungary got into the points, but in Silverstone was a disaster for him. While here he's setting fastest lap over fastest lap. Most likely the safety car is gonna go with us another couple of laps, because the grip is really spread into the circuit. So I will walk you through some curiosity of Belgium. This is Spa-Francorchamps racetrack. This is a 4.35 mile circuit where it's the longest one in the old calendar, almost 7 kilometers for wonder. There are 19 turns, 14 to the right, 5 to the left, and the pole was on 141.2. That's quite far away from what we have seen here. There's Shark with the AI is now behind the safety car, and the group is catching up. Look out into the pit. Is he taking a gamble, or maybe I think he has a broken front wing? We have a comment. Come on, Heisenberg, force a Ferrari. Nice comment, because from the father of Sipopets, I think so. And because he supports the team, of course, for the Constructor Championship, given that Sipopets sadly retired from the race in the first turn. Look at, he's into the pit, buddy. Going to the pit is, you went on a 22 old intermediate tire, so it's surely going to go to another set of inters. Most likely got a broken front wing, but he needs to get rid of them for sure. Ooh, and he spun out because of the whole tires there are onto the limit. And if the safety car is coming to in this lap, it's gonna be a brutal news for him. While everyone in the front is chilling up for the third safety car. They're preparing the strategy, their ERS management, fuel management. During wet condition, your fuel really goes up. You need to start the race with less 1 or 2 laps. We are in a 100% race, so you can handle also a 3 downs fuel lap. Talking about real F1, today we had qualifying session where drivers put the fastest lap on the medium times as the Mercedes on to the soft tires, because the grip wasn't really there for anyone, and we had quite a messy qualifying session with Ricardo setting on P16 for the tomorrow's race in Portimao. It's gonna take place in the 4 PM Italy time, 3 PM UK time. Let's see, the safety car is gonna take another lap, and as I was thinking, Luca will go back into the pit and he's gonna lose every position. Sadly for him, he can get a race ride with Bartlett Wood, who's probably gonna go into the pits. It's not. It's continuing. It can do till the end, but it's gonna be a bit slow. But I think it just want to finish and trying to maximize everything, relying on the incident of the others, and maybe get some cheeky points finishing for the team, while Fred Nolasco is in P3 and really wants to get that win, because you can see that he's just in front of him, as Eisenberg who got fastest lap over fastest lap. You can see he's faster than anyone else, over 4 fans fastest, and he said that the lap was on a 18-old set of inters. So I wonder how much quicker can he be of the rivals. I think he's the only one on a few of one on the wet setup. Let's see if everyone has recovered. Yeah, so we're gonna have the race start on this lap for the final 14 laps of the race, or at least I hope so. Yes, the safety car in this lap. 8th comment, I'm going to read it soon. Still Ferrari fans who wants the Heisenberg to win, or at least get the Mercedes driver to still remain in the fight for the Constructor Championship, where I want to remember you all this, it will be a £500 for the first team, also £500 for the first driver. As Dirt Shark is now nil is in the wall. That's the first big news. What I want to see from the TV cam of Dirt Shark with Fred Nolasco, who is closing up on the Red Bull driver. He's gonna get the lead. He's gonna get the move done. Also Eisenberg really close to the Mercedes driver. Fred Nolasco with overtake on. The Red Bull driver is not with overtake on. He's relying on the distance. That's luckily for him, he's too far away, but the Red Bull driver can't stay there. Just because he was first all the race doesn't mean that he'll finish there. I know Fred Nolasco has a penalty, but for the pace he has, for the pace he shows, and for the brave of his maneuver, he can take the lead. Mooman Graham lost the car, is now P14 with Barks, was now sitting P13, Luca P12 with Dale also in P11. I want to see if he got damage. It doesn't look like, if he has, that's minor, so that's not important. Ooh, Eisenberg really close to Julius race. I want the tires on because Eisenberg is at 7 laps. Julius race have 7 laps older intercompound than Eisenberg. Also we have to take a look to the gap between Dirt Shark and Fred Nolasco, because that's the lead of the race. Looks like the pair up in front is gonna drive alone for the other 14 laps, because Fred and Dirt Shark has already put a gap of 5 seconds between the two Mercedes driver and the Ferrari driver. Was to fight the two Mercedes alone. This is the big moment for to decide the podium of this race. The 5 big names are all there. I want to stay on board with the Renault driver, Fred Lasco. Now let's go on board with the Red Bull driver, Dershire. I changed my mind very quickly because I want to see what's his secret to get a 30 laps lead of the race. What he has better of the others. And as I was talking before, his driving style is completely clean. He doesn't go too much on the curbs. He doesn't smash the throttle pedal. Slightly lock up there, but it won't affect him too much. Very glued to the right places on the track, but this won't shake the Renault driver off because he's really angry of a victory. And did he take that flat out? I wonder. Ooh, really braking late. The harrow behind Dershire is gonna get bigger and bigger. After Renault driver who wants that win, what a 156.0. And I want to see 2/10 faster than the Red Bull driver who now goes wide. Overtake on as soon as he can. And he's gonna have a big chances right now. Let's go, overtake on. The Red Bull driver does not, and it'll be a sit and duck. We're gonna have an incredible fight. And the Renault driver now takes the lead. Fred Nolasco is now in P1 with 13 laps to go. He's now on P1. Absolutely masterclass from the Renault driver, who got up and down with 3 pit stops, while Dershire only got 2. While Eisenberg can't really get closer to the Mercedes driver, he showed that he can do lap time as Fred Nolasco, but in clean air, because with 2 drivers up in front, he's not managing to get into podium places. As Julius race, he's now driving for almost 20 laps behind his teammates, which looks a bit slower than him. And Julius race is also fighting for the championship, so I wonder if he's gonna let his team through, or they're gonna focus only onto the constructor championship. Deep Powers overtake his teammates of high pay. There are also money on the line, so it's not that you are driving for nothing. I understand Warren who says to him, don't worry, we're gonna finish P3, P4 anyway, so stay behind me. Because also who get third in this race will get £20, or what, like will get first, will get £10. And now Julius Race is really close to his teammates. He get a much better line with overtake on. Also F1 Racing Warren has overtake on with a slipstream. Ooh, yellow flag, it's second to 1. I wonder who is. And we have a virtual safety car. That was Luca. Luca was spun. Let's see if he does have. Yeah, he does not have a front wing anymore. Ooh, that's dangerous. Even took sparks under Barksel hood behind the virtual safety car. I don't think he's allowed to do that. Probably the game is gonna punish him. No, it's not. And the virtual safety car is under. Then Heisenberg got surprised. Joseph got surprised by Heisenberg, who got him on the restart of the virtual safety car. Is now in P4, while F1 Racing Warrior is in P3, and his lack of pace is gonna shut up to the Ferrari driver, who is now can't fight for the podium. and Tibran is not that far off. It's only a second or so. So he's gonna fight for the 5th place. Also because Julius has a penalty. Let's see how big it is. It's only a 3-second time penalty, and Fred Nolasco with a 3-second time penalty is just in the points. Ooh, Heisenberg breaks much later than Warren and almost ran into the back of him. We have a comment with much support from the Ferrari driver of Heisenberg. Looks like as the pace on Warren, and very soon we will see an overtake, or at least a battle. Ooh, overtake through a Rouge Radion. That's brave. Let's see who got the best setup there with a low front wing. Looks like Warren, because you can't really get close, but ooh, Heisenberg. Yellow flag sector 3, Luca has retired from the race. Was that last? He led the race from 2 laps or so, but he didn't manage to get a good race overall because he's not finding the consistency in this championship. As Fred Nolasco, I have to say, in the last 2 races, have to drive really from the back of the field to the front, but this time is working pretty nice from him, because he's now in the lead, also with the 3-second time penalty, but is 5 tenths clear of the Red Bull driver, so he's provisionally P1. But let's get on board with Heisenberg, who is fighting with Julius Reyes and Warren for the 3rd place. Not far off though, so Deep Power, Happy, Tribran, and also Mr. G-Man Hammertime. Julius Reyes with that 3-second time penalty will cost him 3 position from Deep Power, Happy and Tribran, so Julius will end up P8. Not now, it will finish P... Yeah, it's still P8, because Tribran is just outside the gap. But if he manage to close it, Julius Reyes with that penalty will finish P9. Most likely. Heisenberg, overtake on. The overtake does really not drain in the rain condition. I wonder how much can Warren stay ahead of the Ferrari driver, who is gonna pressurize him, sorry, till the end of the race. Let's see who has the fastest lap overall. That's quite. And his friend Alaska, our racing as leader, with a 155.5, the only driver into the 55, while Dirt Shark, the second fastest, is on a 56.2, 7 tenths. 7 tenths between the first and the second, while Dirt Shark led every lap of the race till lap 30, when he got overtaken by Fred Nolasco. Also Heisenberg has 6th lap fresher set of intermediates, so it's gonna show up by the end of the race, but maybe he won't need these last few laps. Yellow flag in sector 3 and the Happy. I want to see that crash. I want to see what happened. It's a McLaren driver, and he lost the car on that third turn 15. We get many people like Luca, and now Happy, who sat always into the points places, is now out of this race, with Barks surprisingly in P11, and Mail is retiring from the race, as now Barks is gonna get that point. He's gonna get into the point finishing. I said at the start of the third safety car that if we'll do his homework, then we'll get you to the points, and he's into the points places, but he has to watch out for Mooman Graham, who's probably will hunt him down. We can see get his overtake on. Let's get them both with the points that really matters. We're on the line. There are points for the driver and constructor championship, also for the money, because the top 5 will be paid for this race, and also for the others. Doesn't matter really. Looks like the sky is opening. I wonder if we could get a dry track for by the end of the race. That would be an awesome change of plans for every driver. I would love to see that. With Eisenberg only 4 times behind F1 Racing Warren, but the gap has stayed like this for the past 5 laps. Because most likely F1 Racing Warren has a dry setup, so it's gonna have around 2.6. Ooh, almost run into the back of the Mercedes car. That would be the end of his race, because he would have need to change his front wing. Ooh, there is a fight also between Mooman. Ooh, but let's go on board with Eisenberg, who's only 2 tenths behind the Mercedes driver. But you can see with Slipstream overtake on, he's losing time because of the wings of the Mercedes driver. Ooh. Let's see Mooman, who is gonna have a fight with Barks, and he backs out of it. Let Barks do easily the Radion doesn't want to come up with in a fight. In that corner, that in the wet, is really hard to do that. You can see from Julius' perspective how close is Eisenberg, that the dirt car will be also a big factor for him, because you can run full throttle, full pace as you would in clean air, so close to the car in front. On this game the dirt car is such a thing, but now it's really close. Let's see. Ooh, Warren has also quite a big tank of ERS, while Eisenberg does not. But that's the closest he's ever been. He's gonna go around the outside. It doesn't quite do that. He's gonna wait a bit more, and Giulio is now back into the fight, really close. That's deep power. He's in P6, starting dead last. He's now in P6, watching the podium just a few meters up ahead. This is gonna be entertaining till the end of the race. Stay live, because these last 7 laps will be astonishing. Yes, Augusto, Fred Velasco is P1. He walked his way up. Ooh, Julius is going for the move on Eisenberg. It's just about staying in his position. Is Julius going to get the move? Ooh, down inside he goes and takes back the position. Very brave move for Giulio. Eisenberg really needs to not to mess up it. Oh, Baxel would get a 3-second time penalty. That's so unfortunate. He will now lose the position on Mooman Graham, who is only 7 tenths behind him. That's the last part of points. But everything can happen in this last 7 laps. With deep power also really close to the Ferrari driver, who has dropped the pace. I wonder if he got damage. I want to see that. It doesn't look like, because he has both the end plate, so if he has damage, that's a minor one. let's watch the penalty situation. Julius Reis, okay, is with the overtake on. Let's see the penalty situation with Julius Reis, who has 6-second time penalty. So he's gonna lose many places up ahead. But Movement was done a mistake because he's at 1.8 seconds. That's really spicy fight for the last place, for the last points. I know it's only a point, but it does really matters for the driver, for Box and for Movement. So I want to keep an eye on that. While Warren looks like has really created a gap to his teammates, who has his work to do to keep behind the Ferrari driver who has overtaken brilliantly in the last lap. And now can go back really close. Ooh, Tibran. I lost the place to the Williams driver, Mr. G-Man Hammerheim. That really bad, that bag of the gears. It looks like he's on full revs. Ooh, there's been a swap of position between Box and Movement. I just want to see. He does have all his front wing, but most likely Box did a mistake because he had over a 1 second lead. Let's see Julia, because it's really close to his teammates. He does want to stretch the gap from his penalty to the maximum, because it will affect him quite a bit. He'll finish P6 as it stands. Even if Eisenberg of Deep Power get a penalty, they will finish up in front, so they need to stay in the 6-second zone. While Dirt Shark looks like a stabilized that gap, but he needs that second to get that win, who's now in the hand of Fred Nolasco, who's administrating the race. As I was saying, the race looks, the sky looks a bit open, much open than before at the start. Ooh, Julius Reis is below 10%, so he won't have that much of a rear S. Coming to the end of this straight, Eisenberg show himself into the mirrors of the Mercedes driver, but can't get close enough. While Julio wave around, I wonder if the tires are gonna be a factor still, because Julius Reis and F1 Racing Warren have the oldest of the top 6, and they are not gonna be in a good shape for the last 2 laps, because you can have a puncture from lap 23 to 24, and the tires are gonna be over 70%, so you really need to work hard. And Julius Reis is waving around, losing tire, losing grips, and the more he waves, the more he's gonna lose. That's Fred Nolasco with a 1:54.7. That's the fastest lap overall, over 1.5 seconds faster than the driver in second place of Dirt Shark. But the battle that we want to see is this one for P3 between Warren, Julius Reis, Eisenberg, and Deep Power, who is now lost some track, some space, but needs to gain it back. I want you to remember that Deep Power started P19 and is now P6, gained 13th position, and with the penalty of Julius Reis is gonna get P5. You can see Warren is administrating the race because he has a 70% of ERS. He does know that he can't catch the Red Bull driver, so he'll keep just his teammates behind. and doesn't look like Eisenberg will manage to get Julius race in this final laps, because he's always on that window of 7-8 tenths. If you want to overtake a driver, you have to be in 5-6 tenths gap in dry condition, and in wet condition you have to be in like 4-5 tenths. So he really has to close the gap. He's really strong in this middle sector. He's 7 tenths away from the Mercedes driver, but this won't be enough. Also because they have the same amount of ERS, energy recovery system, and this is a big factor they're both using right now. You can recover much more energy in this wet condition. And Julius race, it looks like he does want to overtake his teammates, even if it does really change nothing, because he will still lose the position of Eisenberg and Deep Power. While Mooman Graham is in P11, 1 second off Barksdale Hood, who has a 3-second time penalty, and Mooman will be into the points, finishing with a 1 point as it stands. Let's see, Julia is really close, but for Rossi Warren does have 60% ERS more than his teammates. So it won't swap the order of the two Mercedes drivers who has been the most consistent team in the grid, and now they're surely gonna take a big step forward, fighting for the Constructor Championship, will give them £500, £250 each, which is a very big amount of money. We have 3 laps to go, so Julius race is now really close to F1 Racing Warren, who is most likely suffering the 20 laps all tires more than his teammates, because I can't explain how this gap is really going down, as Julius race is gonna try to move on his teammate, as Eisenberg almost ran into the back of Julius race, was glued to the front hand, through the hand of his teammates. This is gonna spice up for the last 3 laps, sorry. Taking a wide line, and this won't be the case. Wait, Eisenberg, that's contact, and he will be surely damaged for the Ferrari driver, who will overtake. Will he? You're both gonna run out of ERS. That was quite not a bad thing I've ever seen doing from Julius race, because it'll surely get damage. Surely minor one, because we can see a big one, but now the powers will come back into the fight. If he manages to get Eisenberg, he will get P4 from P19. I can't stop saying that. Oh man, Graham is now 2.7 seconds away. Barksdale to Hood. Every time I put an eye on that gap, it does really like Fisharmonica. I have no idea how to say that in English, but if you want to translate it, Fisharmonica. And the battle for P3 looks like it's not gonna have an end. They have only 2 laps and I have no idea what these guys are gonna do, because they showed us they have no fear of anything. As Deep Power gets 3-second time penalty, that's massive. Massive. Because if Julius Race can stretch a little gap to the McLaren driver, he will get the 5th place, who is massive for the driver championship, which will put him in the 1st place ahead of Simopets, who has retired. I won't remember you all, has retired in the 1st turn of the Grand Prix. Eisenberg, it's really close to Julius. He does want to fight for that constructor championship, but he hasn't had much ERS to do so. And the rain is really improved. Looks like wet, but it's surely too late to change tires. We have another comment. I'm gonna read it shortly. Accreditation. Thanks to the chat. The gap between Max Hood and Mooman looks like an accreditation, and he does, because he's now 3.3 seconds. Well, let's focus on the battle for 3rd place between two Mercedes drivers. I will love. Ooh, Warren, let Julius Race pass. And that's incredible, because he has 95% of ERS. He does want his teammates to stretch the gap as much as possible to Deep Power, but now he's gonna commit himself to a battle with the Eisenberg, who does not want to fight for the position. Eisenberg is gonna go around the outside. Is Racing Warden gonna take the place? They're going with the bang wheels to the bus stop chicane. Who's gonna get the best exit? He's the Mercedes driver, but it'll be wheel-to-wheel race. Deep Power now gets the Ferrari driver, and Eisenberg goes really wide, completely missing the braking point. This is now gonna come out on P6, and while all this is happening, Deep Power is now very close to the Mercedes driver. F1 Racing World. What a mega last lap this is! But we'll take the ERS probably for the last. No, he's not. He's turning up, but it's too late now. You can see how much the whole tires of Warren are really dropping off. It's like driving on ice on these conditions. What a mega last lap. I would love to be right there fighting with them, but it's also so special for me to commentate and to let you enjoy this fight with me, which I am loving it. And now Warren is really come down Deep Power, who is outside of the 3-second gap, as Fred Nolasco wins the Belgian Grand Prix, the round number 3 of the UK Essays Dakar Battle Racing League has been won by Fred Nolasco. 2nd place for Dutch Shark, who got fastest lap overall last sector. We led 30 laps of the race. The first 30 laps really set to him, but the race victory has been deserved by the Renault driver and the Brazilian driver, I think so. As Julius Race is gonna cross the line, and he'll get P4 because his teammate is gonna get the position as Eisenberg to the line. Ooh, Deep Power ran out of fuel. No, I haven't ever seen that. Deep Power ran out of fuel. Let's see the last 2 positions. Nightletooth. His movement gonna gain 4 tenths on the last lap, on the last few turns. 3.3, 3.2, and it's a marvelous last chicane. Locks up, trying to cut as much as he can, but his Bart's little hood, who's gonna take 10 place. And last point, what a mega race we have had. The third round of the UKSA's Dakar Battle Racing League is over in Spa-Francorchamps, in a wet Spa-Francorchamps with Deep Power, truly deserved driver of the day. Running out of fuel, very sad for him in the last part of the race. But what a race we've had. What a fantastic race. With 3 safety cars, maybe a bit too much, but very congrats to the whole field. Very great sportsmanship I've seen with between all them. It's now Fred Nolasco who get 11 points out of it with a 154.7 as a fastest lap and 10 points for the win. I'm gonna say goodbye to you. We're gonna see next week for another round, for the 4th round of the UKSA's Dakar Battle Racing League.